Yep, you read the title. We're going there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my ranking of two of the most hated bands in black metal. So, if you know me kind of well through Discord and whatnot, you'll be aware that I am a Deafheaven defender. I, for the most part, don't understand the hate for them, and I've always thought it was really unjust. Here in my Mastodon shirt. Liturgy, on the other hand, is a mixed bag. And you'll see that was my list. They have a few albums that put me to sleep, and a couple that were legit amazing. So, it's going to be a weird ranking. I have my coffee as normal. And I figured I better real quick show this Polygon Wonderland by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Hell yeah. Pressed on red and blue. Look how nice that is. I've spun this fella many times. So, even though it's two bands, it's not going to be that long of a ranking. Liturgy have 6 albums, and Deafheaven have 5, and then the live album, 10 Years Gone, which I am including, because it's always struck me as one of those, like, live from the studio kind of live albums. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I might do some research into that, and as always, put it there, if that's correct. And we shall get straight into it. Coming in last is the artwork by Liturgy. I was not a fan of this at all for the most part. It was just kind of droning on and repetitive for most of it. Not that much grabbed me at all. Though the last track, or the second last track, somewhere around that ballpark, they give us this really lengthy track, and it's legit awesome. Because it's the least repetitive track by far, and since it's 10 minutes long, thank God for that. And that had literally all the best ideas on the album. Next up is Origin of the Alimonies. I remember when... Retrack. When this came out, the backlash for it was insane, because I heard about this all in post. This was when Ravener... What's your name, bro? You change it like every so often. Had just came out as trans, and the metal community lost their minds. And that hatred of her being trans definitely spilled over to the album. And that aside, I also don't like this album for the most part. While this had 0 tracks that really grabbed my attention, this just kind of bored me for most of it, so I had to put it lower. Here, though, there was generally a lot of really interesting experimentation, but again, it just did not lead to cohesive songs, in my opinion. Man, I really hated to put half of their discography at the bottom, but next up is Renihilation. I don't know. This is a bit of a step up. It had parts here and there that kind of grabbed my ear. Like the first track, High Gold, that's a great track. There's one other song which I'm blanking on the name of, as always over there. So, this is where Liturgy's discography started shifting up a little bit for me. I did a thumb up when I went to go like that. You get what I mean. Next up is my least favorite Deafheaven album, and it's not even close. Ordinary Corrupt Human Love. We're still in the kind of region where not that much is grabbing me. I've listened to this album twice, and both times I kind of went, eh. They pretty much just grabbed the more chilled out parts of New Bermuda and chilled it out even more. And much like Thingo, what's it called? The artwork, it just kind of drones on. And I'm not that crazy about it either. Now we get to the segment of the list where I could listen to them again and have a decent time, but I'm still not too crazy about them. Starting with Aesthetica by Liturgy. Okay, now we're talking. This is one of their less abrasive albums, and thank God for that, because man, when Liturgy really go at it, they reach Death Spell Omega territory for me of just my brain is going to explode. Stop. Yeah, this is another Liturgy album I kind of listen to and go, okay, that was okay. What's my favorite track though? I'm not sure. Next up is Infinite Grounded by Deafheaven. There is 0 black metal at all for the most part. and people are angry and rightfully so. When I listen to this, I hear this very chilled out, post-rocky, shoegazy kind of album, and it's pretty enjoyable for what it is. In Blur is one of my favorite Deafheaven songs, and hearing it live was awesome because the entire crowd knew the words. It was so good. You of course have Mombasa, which is really quiet and repetitive, but you can tell they did it on purpose. You can tell that they almost wanted to bore you, and then they blast into a black gazy section for the last couple of minutes. Beautiful. Infinite Ground by Deafheaven. It's decent. Next up is their debut, which is called Rose Tudor. Jesus Christ. This one is only 4 songs, and they're all decently long. Like, the track list is only like, what, 6, 7, 12 minutes and 8 minutes or something like that? And it's only like 37 minutes long, so it's a quick listen. Because everything else by Deafheaven is like 50 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. And then this one just kind of shoots by. It's just pretty much the prototype for Sunbather. And you probably know exactly where Sunbather is going for me, of all people. Number 1. Anyways, these last 5 are ones that I can listen to front to back and have an awesome time. 10 Years Gone. This is mainly this high because it's most of New Bermuda and Sunbather, which are of course my 2 favorite Deafheaven albums by a long shot. Like, for me it's like Sunbather, New Bermuda, Sunbather, New Bermuda, Roads to Judah, then like everything else below. This kind of sits right in the middle because, again, it's live versions of most of Sunbather and New Bermuda. Yes! Not really too much more to say than that. Next up is my second favourite Liturgy album, and one of 2 that I legitimately really enjoy, Hark. This one has like this weird 4 acts kind of story to it, which is something that Halo goes into on the official Liturgy YouTube channel. Go and watch it. It's some pretty interesting stuff. Because, of course, there's a lot of philosophical and religious stuff that goes into Liturgy's music. And it's not trans propaganda, as some may try and tell you. Yeah, this one is brilliant. Heavy when it needs to be. And it brings back that, like, almost Death Spell Omega territory of, holy crap, my brain is going to explode if I listen to this. It's got some electronic and ambient elements mixed in. And I was listening to this, and there were so many points where I was like, what is this? But I kind of love it. Next up, New Bermuda by Deafheaven. Brilliant album. Brought to the Water is a rager. Baby Blue is a terrible song title for this kind of band, but is also a rager. I always saw this as a darker and heavier Sunbather, because since I'm such a Sunbather nerd, I often recommend it to people, and they'll be like, that was a little bit too bright and cheery for my liking. Then they put on New Bermuda and go, this is Deafheaven? Wow. And because of its heavier and darker approach, a lot of people like it more than Sunbather. And I say to you, fair enough, but no. It's one of their stranger artworks as well. Like, to me it always looks like someone who's leaning over a lake or something, and then the reflection of the lake, which is also dripping off bro's face. Anyways, it's a really enjoyable album. Every single time I listen to it, it's a joy. And has some legitimately scary parts from time to time. Like, how did Deafheaven do this after Sunbather? And just like normal for Deafheaven, these are long tracks, because the damn thing is only 5 songs, but it runs for nearly 50 minutes. So, while it is a reasonably short album, you gotta really dive into these tracks. Speaking of long albums, my third favorite album of 2023, 93696 by Liturgy. This was my starting point for Liturgy. And I remember listening to this going, damn, this slaps. Why do people hate Liturgy? Then, of course, I listened to these three and went, oh, that's why people hate Liturgy. But back to this album. First things first, it is way too long. I love this album to death, but you could easily trim 15 minutes off it, maybe 20, because the damn thing's like an hour and 25 minutes. It is worth it though. Oh my god, both of the 14-minute tracks are so well paced. Like they're both 14 minutes, but they feel like 10. They just shoot by. I was listening to one of them when I was like on the way home from class or something. I put on the title track, I think, which is like 14 minutes 50 or something like that. I was just listening to it away, doing my thing, you know, really jamming out to it. Then I was like, damn, it's already been 9 minutes. Emancipation is a great one. Individuation is a great one. Degeneration is a rager. I'm seeing Liturgy in a little bit over a month, by the way. Even though I don't like them that much for the most part, as this list has reflected, their live show looks brilliant. And, it's going to be pretty sick, I can already tell. So yeah, while Liturgy for the most part is not my thing, this album is fantastic from front to end, pretty much. Almost front to end. But of course, number one, Sunbather. Every track except for Windows is a banger. Every single one. Dreamhouse. Most people's first Deafheaven song. They play it every single night for a reason. Irresistible is a beautiful interlude. Vertigo is a 14-minute banger, which does take a bit too long to get going. Once it does, though, it's awesome. Sunbather is probably my favorite Deafheaven song. Either that or the peak entry, which is the closer, with that big post-rocky build-up before they climax it and then stick with that groove for the rest of the track. So good. Please Remember is another interlude one. I'm not that crazy about that track, but the second half of it is awesome. So, there it is. Sunbather by Deafheaven. One of the most divisive albums ever as well. And elitists just will talk down on it to the moon and back. And I'm over here like, yeah, Vertigo. Yeah, Sunbather. And there was no other choice for number one. So, I hope you like this video to some degree. I know there's going to be some people who are like, how do you like these bands? But, quick disclaimer, that's actually somewhat why I wanted to make this video, to see how many people would freak out. So, that's going to be fun. So, if you enjoy these bands, it'd be cool to see a double ranking. Throw in 10 Years Gone if you want. And I'll see you in the next one.